What sort of wage theft are you targeting with this new criminal offence, and what are the penalties?
So, Dan, this is a criminal offence that depends upon the action or the inaction being intentional. It is intentional underpayment of an amount that was due to be paid. The penalties are, as you said, the maximum of 10 years in jail for a person, or $1.65 million for a person, or for a company, $8.65 million. And that, of course, is a determination that a court would make.
Now, as you've mentioned there, that it's got to be intentional, and I think the wording used in the changes is around it being deliberate, but there's some confusion over how that's going to be defined, and some legal experts say it'll be really hard to prove. So how do you expect prosecutors to prove that intent?
We've made the point, I guess implicitly there, that the Fair Work Ombudsman doesn't conduct the prosecution. We investigate to a criminal standard and then hand the matter over to the Commonwealth Director of Public Prosecutions. The intention, of course, is something that the Commonwealth Director of Public Prosecutions would be well experienced in proving to a court, to a criminal standard, which of course is beyond reasonable doubt. I guess a simple way of putting it is that if the action taken was on purpose to deprive or to underpay, specifically underpay a worker, or there was no action, in other words, there was a failure to pay at all, and that was purposeful, on purpose or deliberate, then that is the kind of territory that would suggest that the conduct may be intentional.
I'm keen to get a sense of how this might play out in practical terms. Are there specific examples of wage theft that Fair Work has previously won that would fit into this definition of deliberate wage theft?
But we can't say that, Dan, because this is a brand new offence that has never been available to the Fair Work Ombudsman to pursue before. But I guess what we can say is that we have recovered around $1.5 billion in underpayments over the last few years. We have succeeded in getting penalties against a range of companies, some of which do things that appear to be on purpose, such as ask workers for money back in cash after they've been paid electronically correctly. But as for actually a criminal underpayment, we've not had that experience yet.
Based on the circumstances around 7-Eleven, if that were to happen now, would that fall into this deliberate wage theft?
Look, 7-Eleven was before my time. I believe that it did involve cashback, and I've just mentioned that cashback is, I guess, an action that does appear on its face to be deliberate. So that could attract certainly the kind of investigation that we would mount in a circumstance that was brought to our attention like that.
And we've already got some reaction. Industry groups like Archaea say that the new criminal wage theft laws are adding extra bureaucratic burden to businesses, while other reports out today say scores of small business owners are worried that they're already accidentally breaking wage theft laws. So is the Fair Work Act too unwieldy for business, and how can that confusion be remedied?
Look, I can understand that small businesses that are trying to do the right thing might be concerned. I'm actually here to assure them, and have been doing this for the last year, Dan. These laws were passed back in late 2023, and we've been talking about them with small business for a long time. In fact, small business helped write the Small Business Code, which is a protection for business and comes with a guide that's been prepared in consultation with them that is available to them on our website to go through a range of things that they might do to protect themselves. And indeed, if they discover that there's been an underpayment, or we discover that there's been an underpayment, they can ask us to assess that, their conduct against that code. And if it's clear that they've taken all the steps that are in that code, each circumstance obviously will stand on its own merits, then they will be protected against prosecution, and we will not be able to refer them to the Commonwealth Director of Public Prosecutions for prosecution.